Good morning, and thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup. I'm Neeraj Shah. It's a day before our big event, and a lot of excitement around what's happening in the markets. Well, let's first figure out what happened overnight. US markets gained, and Asian stocks, if you reckon, are largely mixed ahead of the India and the US inflation data. Taiwan has detected dozens of Chinese warplanes off the southeast coast. Some of them crossed into Taiwanese territory, apparently, as per a report. Cotton hit monthly highs as market sees demand pick up from China, and China has seen to ramp up fiscal stimulus in order to boost economy as per CSJ. Well, let's see if that happens and the impact thereof. It could be positive for metals, by the way. Yesterday was an interesting day for metals, the last 2 or 3 days as well. But remember, the US stocks did okay. Asia may not be following suit, but the US markets had a fairly action packed day, if you will, as these numbers show you about 1% higher for the Dow. The report, the expectation is that there will be a report which will show inflation slowing down. I don't think it will decide the Fed Reserve's next steps, but it's a shot in the arm from the market's perspective for sure. So good going there. In fact, the S&P 500 also topping the 4,400 mark. Some of the energy stocks are heading above its 100 moving average as well, so which is all pretty cool. There's the Nifty or the Gift Nifty indicating a flat start in the markets today. So no big changes there. Incidentally, I must tell you, for people who are interested, Pakistan and Sri Lanka have become the world's top performing stock markets so far this month. Not really for the year, but for the month. Those two, because of the relief, have become the top performing world markets as well. So pretty interesting. Nevertheless, what's the trade setup therefore for the day? I think skepticism at higher levels continue. We saw that yesterday as well, with the market really moving higher and then coming off later on, not ending in the red, but coming off later on. And I reckon that FI flows are a bit of a savior there. But FMCG stocks or the highest, interestingly, the last 2 or 3 days they were low. Yesterday's session, FMCG was amongst the top performing indices, and you can by one of the brokers suggests that FMCG stocks saw the highest addition by mutual funds in the month of June. That's pretty interesting. The problem, viewers, is that a lot of stocks are now seeing frenzied buying. Defense, for example, for a Mazgon dog to gain 10% yesterday after the phenomenal move that it has seen without there being any apparent reason, at least on the looks of it, is quite stunning. You look at the delivery percentages, by the way. I mean, forget Mazgon dog. It was anyways low delivery percentages and it stayed at about 15%. But a clutch of other names actually have fairly feeble delivery percentages relative to what they would have done in a good time. So that is to be kept in mind. So I'll give you some stats here, right? BDL 25%, average was 50% earlier. Cochin Shipyard 12%, average was 35% earlier. The only problem, or the only thing that I see in the current fervor of the market, people are okay. A rising tide is carrying all boats. Nobody's interested in a stock which is gonna gain 25% in a year. Everybody's looking at ideas which are 5x, 10x, 15x over the course of the next 5, 10 years. This is where worry starts coming in. Day before yesterday, by the way, we didn't put it out. It was my mistake. But the nature of the stocks that went up at the small cap end of the market, that told you a story. I don't know if I'm asking too much out of Virat, but in yesterday's trade setup, we had made a plate of stocks which went up day before yesterday on some phenomenally high volumes and some serious price action. If you just see that list, it'll make you wonder what's happening really on some of the bourses. But difficult to pull. But I'm just saying, the kind of stocks that went up was, to my mind, I would say, it would border on concerning. I haven't heard some of these names, like Suyo Tele was up some 15%, market cap's up 500 crores, Tina Rubber up 17%, market cap 600 crores, JK up 10%, market cap 425 crores, just looking a bit concerning. Nevertheless, I may be old school, but that's how I look at the market. Yesterday, a lot of FNO stocks also went up, by the way. Tatacom was up about 7%, Polycab 6%, HAL about 4%, Bharat Electronics 3.5%, ABB 3.5%. That's the other story. ABB is phenomenally expensive, but maybe the market bets on what could be happening in these stocks over the course of the next 2 3 years, which is why it's comfortable buying these stocks at these valuations. Um, so, and the same could be said for defense, right? So I may scoff at, or I may wonder as to what's happening in some of these names, or maybe the market believes in the growth story over the next 2 3 years. Let's wait and watch. Today we kickstart the result season officially of sorts. So TCS, HCL Tech, Anand Rathi Wealth, all of them come out with numbers. All of them will come out post marketers, I believe. At least TCS and HCL Tech will. So the reactions come in tomorrow, but interesting day per se. Now, not too much expected out of TCS by the viewers. So if they manage to give a positive surprise, it could be constructive. HCL Tech, I think a few quarters of the market believe will spring a surprise and will give out a positive quarter. So let's wait and watch. The expectations on a relative basis higher from HCL Tech versus TCS. From TCS, the expectations are of a very poor quarter. Let's see if they can actually deliver a slightly more stable quarter. Stocks to watch and slam dunk for the gaming stocks this morning. Both Delta Corp and Nazara Tech will see a downtick. The GM report on online gaming, casinos, and horse racing says 28% tax uniformly on the full face value. The amendment to the GST law will include online gaming in it. Now, the thing is, viewers, for Delta Corp, it was anyways under this tax regime. So the tax for the core business of casinos doesn't change, but the lot of chatter around its upcoming IPO, which is online gaming, right? And they also have some bit of online gaming presence, I think, within the console numbers currently. So therefore, to that extent, there is a damage for Delta Corp, and of course, the IPO not coming is also uh, a, uh, a bad news, and therefore, to that extent, Delta Corp gets impacted. The point I'm trying to make is for the bread and butter business, there isn't an impact. So will the stock go down today? Most certainly it will. Is it as bad a piece of news for Delta as it is for a Nazara, as it is for a Dream 11, as it is for a Games 24/7? I think not. But it is bad news. So Delta will certainly correct. Nazara most certainly will correct. And probably the correction may not necessarily last only for the day today. Now, here out, two gaming experts, Bhavin Pandya and the Federation body representative, about what could the impact of this be.
In 2 words, very and disappointing. But it has been surprising to hear this. We are very distressed that this was the eventual outcome that came out that was shared with us today. This, despite us reaching out to the government, the bureaucracy, everyone who was involved in this matter to educate them, inform them about international practices are.
We'd say industry is dejected, an extremely unfortunate decision. Now, this has completely disregarded these 60 years of settled jurisprudence as far as games of skill are concerned. And that's, a worrying factor. In the report by the GUN, which clearly states that, it should be 28% on the gross gaming revenue or the platform fee. And now, after today's meeting, we get to know that it is going to be 28% on the entire face value. So that is extremely surprising for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll make representations as well. This kind of, I must say, this effectively kills this space per se. So, and this has multiple repercussions. So, don't know if there'll be a rethink on this, but for now, I think the markets will vote with its verdict, and you will see a slam dunk on these stocks. Like I said, though, remember that the news is uh, bad for Delta Corp as well, bad for Nazara as well, bad for everybody else out there. Just that Delta Corp's bread and butter business doesn't get impacted as much. So that's to be kept in mind. It is on the online piece on top of it, which does get impacted. But negative news certainly for both, and you will see the stocks react today. PVR may not react as much today, actually may react slightly positively because the GST rate on food items and beverages in cinema halls will be 5%. Not much financial impact, but removes any uncertainty and may be construed positively, I would think. So watch out for PVR. Happiest Minds sets 972 rupees as the floor price for the QIP. Remember, the company had planned to raise this sum through various means as announced in October 2022, probably happening now. Would be interested to hear from the management once the fundraising is done for the reasons thereof as well. NTPC, as per media reports, Uttar Pradesh has approved two Obradi thermal power projects of 800 megawatts each. The projects will be built at the cost of 18,000 crores in Sonbhadra's Obra. Projects will be executed by the government with a 50-50 partnership with NTPC. So it's a thermal power project, usually not uh, that positive a news, but it's a large one. So therefore, NTPC embarking upon this, and I think multiple people have said it. India has some distance to go before it becomes a completely green economy. It's virtually not possible for a country of our size to do that overnight, no matter what some of the developed nations may be saying. So therefore, maybe some of these things are also important. Let's see if NTPC has a reaction thereon. By the way, I haven't mentioned Lupin out here, but it's got an EIR for its Pithampur unit, and maybe that's a slight positive. The news came out time moments of trade yesterday, 3:25 p.m., and which is why I haven't included it. But watch out for Lupin too, by the way, in terms of announcements. Oh, actually, there's one more announcement. Bhansali Engineering Polymers, the company's approved a bonus issue as well. Maybe that stock reacts a bit in the session today, so watch out for PEPL. Some brokerage recommendations. Pidilite, Cities cut the recommendation to a sell from a buy. The price target at 2220 rupees implies a 16% decrease from the last price. And Reliance has resumed overweight. The Morgan Stanley is resumed overweight rating, target price of 3210, which I believe implies a 16% upside. So two interesting brokerage calls with a 16% impact on both. So watch out for those as well. So that's the long and short of what I have observed today, viewers. Have I seen something else? No, not really. So these are a few things that you're got to keep in mind. A lot of brokerage calls, like I said. I think two calls on cement. UBS is constructive. Nomura is not as much. So those two could be interesting as well. So watch out for cement stocks. You might see some reactions, Dalmia Bharat, ACCs of the world. So keep these in mind. Thank you so much for tuning in to the trade setup. A lot of conversations lined up today at 10:30. Alpha Moguls with Swanand Kelkar. So you might want to tune in. He's from Breakout Capital Advisors, and it's an interesting global and a local concept weaved into portfolio construction. So that's a conversation you might want to tune in at 11:30. Manishi Ray Chaudhary will be joining in. BNP Paribas to talk about his perspective, and a global voice again coming in, or somebody who looks at India but from a global perspective. So that could be interesting as well. And remember, as we've stated, big event tomorrow. I know a lot of people have written to us, subscribers have written to us about attending, and there's only as much attendance that can be done. But as our teams have stated as well, I'm sure, and even if they have none, I'm stating it out on our platform that all of these conversations will be available in the comfort of your laptop or your phone, as the case may be. The links will be there, so you can log in from your home or your office, as the case may be, and listen to some engaging conversation. I hope a lot of you tune in, because there's a lot of learning tomorrow post market hours at BKC in Mumbai.
How do you make the most of the India opportunity as an investor? For that answer, all roads lead to BKC in Mumbai on the 13th of July. Three big money managers describe the size of this opportunity. Two of the largest mutual fund CIOs then tell you about the mega trends that they're investing in. Will the current capex cycle be similar to the one between 2003 and 2008? We get that answer from Sanjeev Sharma of ABB in a conversation with veteran investor Madhusudan Kela. And then we rounded off with two of the most prominent investing names talking about how to make the large bets and make it really big. All of this and more at the Trident Hotel in BKC on the 13th of July. Catch the action live on BQ Prime.